What is up, guys? This is Jared Spalding here, and today I want to make a video about 5 things you should know before you start silver stacking. So this is for people who, you could be a beginner, maybe you've already started, but it's just for someone who either hasn't started stacking yet. If I could speak today, it'd be wonderful. Or they have been stacking, but they just may have only bought a 1 ounce bar or something. Like, dude, basically, you're not very far along. Okay, so number one for this is that there are many, many, many people trying to scam you, okay? This is probably an obvious one, but maybe you don't realize just how many are out there. So, one scam, and this is a big one, is honestly eBay, just in general. I'll buy from there, but it's only really from reliable companies, because I don't like buying from their websites as much, because sometimes they'll have like a minimum amount you have to order, like $1,000 or something like that. Or maybe not that, but like they'll have you might have to order a minimum, or it's just like the shipping charges might be more on their website, because usually they'll offer free shipping on eBay. And also, I just find it's kind of easier to do it through eBay, but you don't have to worry about it if you're buying from reliable companies. However, you do have to worry about it if, let's say, you were buying from just some random person who says, they're selling bars, and then all of a sudden, their account disappears, they won't contact you anymore, and yeah, you basically got screwed over. That's going to suck a lot. So, don't buy from anybody who's unreliable. And not just eBay, but, sketchy websites as well that are only going to be up for a little while. Again, that's going to be something where you're going to want to avoid it. Of course, eBay, it's going to be easier for them because they're going to have a much larger, base or customer base to sell to when you're selling silver, and you can sell it really fast on there as opposed to on a website. Even if you had good deals, people might not necessarily find them, so that's why you'll find most of these scams on eBay. But they're everywhere, so definitely look out for them. And there's other scams too, though. It's not just like not showing up or not sending any silver. There's also fake silver, and sometimes it'll look very authentic. It'll look like just some regular hand poured silver, and then it turns out it's just some copper that's spray painted. Or they'll pick a metal that's similar to silver, that would actually pass most of the tests. However, I believe a magnet test will work on just about everything, and because silver should not be magnetic. But there are other metals as well that are non-magnetic, so, there are ways to make this fake silver pass the test, and that could be a big problem. So, honestly, like I said, just really, the way to avoid this, the most simple way is just to go with, the bigger companies, like, I don't know, ATMAX, Private Metals, whoever it is, just go with larger companies, because chances are they're not going to rip you off, because, they're not going to want to lose a bunch of customers, so there wouldn't really be any point in that. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is that you do have to have a little bit of money to start. Like, I know that I myself have not, I don't have like $1,000 to spend on silver, but I've managed to make do with what I've had, and you can't be thinking that you're going to start, stacking silver, but only going to spend $100. That's not really realistic. I'm sorry to tell you, but honestly, just these 7 coins right here are going to cost a lot more than $100. I mean, this one alone is valued at like $50. So, even just this little setup I have here would cost you more than that. So with $100, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to really do much. And I'm not saying, $100 a week, that's going to be like pretty much fine. But I'm talking about like just $100 overall. That's really not going to help you much. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I know that I like to be a big proponent for people, who are under 18 stacking silver. But at the same time, you do have to understand that silver it's not super cheap. I mean, it's not nearly as expensive as gold or something, but it's not going to be like, you can come in with $100 and actually have a decent amount of money. I mean, I'm sorry. You're not going to get too much silver for it, and you have to buy a decent amount for it to actually be worth anything to you in the first place, or else you could get ripped off. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about is diversification. Now this, man, I always, I'm going around preaching this, I understand, and maybe it gets old hearing it after a while, but trust me, this is going to be one of the most important things you'll ever hear. Despite what people tell you that, they say you should disregard Newsmax or whatever because an economic collapse is coming, I'm sorry, that's a little ridiculous, though, to me, because how can you possibly know if there's going to be an economic collapse or not? I mean, you really think that you're such an expert that you can just predict that? Like, whenever I've tried to make a prediction, I always, say I'll be the first one to admit I'm not going to be able to always get everything right when I'm predicting, and it's probably not going to be exactly what I say. You know, I might be able to get the general idea of something, but I understand that my predictions are just that, predictions. But some people seem to be here so dead set that the economy is definitely going to collapse, and so you should only be stacking bullion and stuff like that. And really, no. You should be going with, I think, at least three major different types of silver, which are, of course, numismatically valuable. Oh my god, numismatically valuable constitutional silver. I was about to say bullion. Numismatically valuable constitutional silver, junk silver, or non-numismatically valuable constitutional silver, which is gonna just be all your United States stuff like this. You got your nickels, both 40% and 90%. Kennedy has, if I could find a 90% one, that'd be great. So you got your quarters, your mercury dimes. I mean, there's a lot of different options for it. And you got your slightly more valuable pieces as well. This is something that's maybe worth a little bit. This is the coin I was trying to find, though. But, overall, it's just kind of junk. Especially in the nickels. The 219 silver nickels I have in here. But say 220, but actually no. Because I had to take out one to complete my nickel set. But, all this is going to be just your good junk silver you can get for a pretty good price if you know where to look. And finally, the other one is... And finally, your generic bullion. Now, of course, you can go with some numismatic bullion as well, but I don't think that's really as necessary as the other three because they really do cover all your basics, that you're going to need for silver. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about here is don't buy the first thing you see, because even with generic bullion, you might be thinking, oh, well, all the prices are going to be the same. But trust me, just like anything else with silver, they're not. I'm sorry about how bright this is. Hold on. Push that a little bit back there. It's not really helping at all, of course. There we go. But anyway, what I was saying is that really prices for all this stuff is going to be different because honestly, it really depends on what company is and what specials they're running. If you see a 5-ounce bar, like I'll give you a good example. These two 5-ounce bars right here, right? You see this 5-ounce bar, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to pick that thing up. It looks really nice. But then you realize that two weeks later, you could have picked up this one way cheaper. And this bar, I did have to pay a lot more. Well, sorry, this one was given to me as a gift, actually. But a lot more over spot was paid for this bar than this bar. And I did buy this bar myself from JM Bullion, like I talked about before. But, honestly, I'm pretty sure more was paid for this bar, even though silver was at around the same price, might have even been a little bit lower. So, basically my point is that, actually no, it was probably not lower, but it was a decent amount of time ago, but I know more over spot was paid for that one than this bar, and basically my point being that even though, like I was saying, different companies are going to have different prices, and even though it is generic bullion, it's not like numismatics where you're going to be buying it in an auction or something like that, or you might be, but you might think the price won't vary much, but it still will. And like I said, really just try to make sure you're looking out for all the deals, getting notified, set up to get notifications whenever there's new deals. Sign up for the newsletter if you're on the website. I know it might seem inconvenient at first, but they will send you some good deal offers, usually, like Silver.com sends them to me, for example, and you might actually get some good deals that you would have missed out on otherwise. So that's for generic bullion. However, with something like numismatically valuable coins, really, those you don't want to just buy the first one you see because their value is really determined on what people think it's worth. Of course, they kind of have a baseline price, but you'll see certain people sell them for way cheaper than others. And also, really, you should hit up the auctions, I think, because I've gotten some of the best deals on numismatics ever because of that. I'll go to an auction and I'll just be like, all right, I think this coin's interesting. I'll watch it for a while, and I'll end up, bidding on it a little bit, and then maybe the photos are poor or whatever it is. But basically, for some reason, the coin didn't go for nearly as much as it should have, and I ended up getting it pretty cheap. That's happened several times for me. I've gotten valuable coins for a really good deal because of that. So definitely make sure that whatever price you're paying is the best one you possibly could be paying at that time, because chances are, if you're not, putting a lot of time and patience in, then you pay too much. And finally, the fifth thing I want to talk about is make sure you know your goals and your hopes and dreams, whatever it is, from silver before you actually start investing. Because let me just say something here about this. Actually, a little anecdote, if you will. And when I first started silver, I honestly was kind of almost aimless in my stacking. I thought basically what I thought is simple. Oh yeah, silver probably will go up in value over time, so I'll be able to sell it for more than whatever I'm paying for it right now. Silver's been going down a little bit because this was in September of 2014, so silver had just started plummeting a little bit. And I was like, these prices are going down, the lowest they've been in a while, so I guess I'll start buying. And silver will, over time, build value. And, that's going to help me in the future when I, want to resell it. I didn't understand, really, all the reasons why, that I do today, why you should be stacking silver. So, really just try to make sure you know your reasons before you're doing it, and think, is this really even for me? Because if you put a lot of money into silver and then realize, oh, this market's way too slow for me, I want the stock market, well, then you have all the silver, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to resell it and probably lose money having to ship out all the bars or whatever you bought. I mean, really, just make sure you know your reasons and why, not just why you're stacking, but also, if you even want to be. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Just my thoughts on the subject. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Peace, love, and much respect.